247 Canes. Miami has a developmental problem, not a recruiting problem. Bring in a great recruiter doesn't solve the problem. We need someone like Kirk Ferentz, Iowa.
Yeah, I mean,
guy's a tremendous coach. He may be a little bit older than what I would be looking for.
Yeah, no, exactly. He's been there for 20-something years now. He's not leaving from Iowa. I get that's the archetype that you want.
Yes.
But, I mean, yeah, it's more development than recruiting. And we've seen, it's funny, one of our guys, let me get the name right because I don't know which one this was. This was Carl Bleich. He wrote a piece when Manny Diaz got hired about, ranking the coaches post Butch Davis for the Miami Hurricanes. And then he's reheated that like, okay, so, 5 games into this season with the record as it is and like the career record for Manny Diaz, where do things stand? Rank the coaches, ever since Butch Davis. Every single coach has found a way to recruit here. You know what I mean? Al Golden recruited. Now, he missed on some and made some unwise choices on others, but still recruited well. Randy Shannon, #1 class in America. Didn't do anything with them, but went to Miami Northwestern and got all the dudes from that mythical high school national championship team, went around the state of Florida, got other guys for the #1 overall class in America. Larry Coker recruited his butt off. Like I said, Randy Shannon, Al Golden, Mark Richt, Manny Diaz. Doesn't matter the name. I mean, there's only 5 names, but it doesn't matter the name. There's been recruiting and good recruiting, top 25, top 15 in some instances. And, I would probably say in the last 20 years, maybe a little bit under half, top 10 recruiting. You're going to get talent here, but we're clearly not developing it. So I agree. Now, the archetype for a coach of the Kirk Ferentz mold, who's really development heavy. You know what I mean? Because they're not going to get big, star players there. It's going to take some time to grow them. I understand that. But I just think that a coach who coaches better, I think that will see the kind of development that you need to have. But yeah, I think I do agree with the poster there. It is much more a development problem than it is a recruiting problem. And you can look back for many, many years with that.
Okay. Well, there's a coach who's been in the news recently for certain activity in certain public places. Now, this particular coach, I know you don't like him for 2 different reasons, but we're also talking about a coach who's far more accomplished than anybody who's been mentioned. Far more accomplished.
Say it.
Urban Meyer.
Sign me up. Sign me up. Sign me up. I mean, put a morals clause in his contract or whatever. Sign me up. Sign me up. You want to talk about if you believe Manny Diaz's statement that recruiting needs to improve for the product on the field to improve. Bring in Urban Meyer. And you might actually see a Miami Hurricanes recruit from Polk County for the first time in 20, 30 years. Because that's where Lakeland is, Lakeland Kathleen, Lakeland Senior High School, and all pipeline to UF. Think of all them dudes. The Pouncey twins are from there. Chris Rainey's from there. There's all kinds of dudes from there. And Polk County, that's Gator territory. There was a kid who someone in the comments asked me about earlier this season, right before the season. I was like, oh, I think I remember the name. He's a blue chip guy. Let me Lakeland, never mind. Gone. Done. Period. Like, off rip. I'm not even going to recruit there because why am I going to waste my time talking to somebody who's not going to come over here? You bring in Urban Meyer, maybe that's possible. And hey, look, tell me he can't go into any living room with credibility, whether it's from coaching at UF, whether it's coaching from O State, whether it's one of the 3 national championships he's won. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, it's not going well at the NFL level because I don't think that's for him. But hey, I'm so good. They called me from retirement to go coach in the NFL because that's how I am. But you know what? I didn't want to do that anymore. I wanted to come back and I want to rebuild the U because there's no brand that's stronger and no brand this strong has not achieved to the level. But that's in the past, and now I'm here. And not only am I here, I'm going to bring your son with me to Coral Gables, where we're going to grow him as a man and as a player. And like so many other players that I've coached, he's going to go to the NFL and make you both proud and rich at the same time. So I'm going to let you think about that, and I'm going to go talk to somebody else. And hey, if you don't want to come to Miami, that's okay. I wish you all the best, but I hope you don't come to an ACC team, because if you do, we're going to beat you, because that's how I am, and that's what I do. Whether it's at Bowling Green, Utah, Florida, or O State, go look at the numbers. Go check my films. I'll call you guys next week. Thanks for the meatloaf, Mom. Have a great night.
Except Urban Meyer wouldn't say O State.
I mean, yes, he would not say that, but you know what I mean? But tell me he couldn't go and have that speech in any home and not have credibility. Now, you want to talk about, obviously he was caught with the attractive young lady at the bar who's not his wife, dancing and grinding and other things. Fine. You want to talk about, hell, even if you want to bring up Aaron Hernandez, look, I recruited the guy, played here, everything. Didn't do anything when he was here, walked the straight and narrow. I didn't know that he was gang affiliated. I did not know that he was going to do the things that he did. So that's an outlier. But if you look at everything else in my program, we never had anything like that. And so even if you want to have a negative attack like that, I think that there's a talking point to be made opposite that. But if he wants to come down here, come on. Coach, what do you need? What infrastructure do we need to put in place? And where do I sign?
I actually think that while he ran too loose of a ship at Florida, I do think that he learned from that at Ohio State. There was a coaching situation but from the player standpoint, he didn't have any issues. They had one serious issue when he was first there, and he dealt with it very harshly and suspended players for 5 games, Carlos Hyde included. So he dealt with that and then didn't have any issues past that. And man, you're looking at a guy that if you look up all-time winning percentage, the 2 guys above him have black and white pictures from the 20s. They're Newt Rockne and Frank Leahy. So that was a different sport. Post-World War II, he is the best winning percentage in college football history, even better than Nick Saban's.
Hey, man, and I don't think that anything that he's done is a disqualifying factor to me, such as Art Briles, such as what's his face? Freeze. You know what I mean? But yeah,
I would just find it fascinating. As a neutral bystander, I would just find it fascinating. Just like I would have found it fascinating had he gone to USC as rumored, to see, okay, here's a school that's got everything at their disposal. I would think that he would go in there and think, I can run the Pac-12. This is, not difficult.
You're still the number 1 team in LA, like football wise. I know that they got, other teams out, the pro teams and everything, but like SC, bro. And I know people will joke, oh, University of South Central. Okay. All right. Like, yes, it is not out in, Inglewood, like UCLA. You know what I mean? But yeah,
and so in a similar fashion, he comes to Miami, looks at the ACC, and I'm not discounting Clemson. They're having their struggles, but I don't think that that's maybe program-wide. But maybe they have seen their best days, and maybe he comes in and just tears it up.
The talent is there. It's uncontrovertibly there, and he's not somebody who would be afraid of playing, I think, the right guys. Now, I will always go and say, I understand why the move was made, but Cam Newton should have been playing at Florida over Tim Tebow. I get why they played 15. But Cam Newton did everything in a single season that Tim Tebow did in an entire career. And would have done that and more because he's a better physical player, period. Like, whatever. But I get the ancillary. I get it. That notwithstanding, playing the best guys. Percy Harvin is a freshman. Cool. Rainey, Pouncey twins, other dudes come straight in off the street from high school, get them fitted up for a helmet and some shoulder pads. They're going to start with the 3s. They're going to be with the 2s by the end of the week. And then by next week, after the first scrimmage, if y'all don't make plays, one of these freshmen are going to be on the field. And they did. And you could look at it. I don't think it would be the same thing that we're crying about with, not playing the more talented players, which is a thing that Miami's been doing, and then just to, again, here Manny Diaz 2 weeks ago before the Virginia game talking about, well, I can't see a guy maybe going from having a big role to zero. Like, I don't know how you can go from 100% usage for that player to 0 if they're not good enough. Like, what are we talking about? But Urban Meyer, that wouldn't be a conversation. We wouldn't be talking about, oh, we're going to give the, 17-year senior Matt Harpering, honorary starting positions to these players. No. If you're here for a 5th year and you didn't get injured, something went wrong. I mean, at most places, honestly, at most positions. Because if you're getting these blue chip guys, you're going to their living room and saying you're going to be 3 years in a first round draft pick. That's what you want all these All-Americans to do. I've talked to college coaches. I've talked to high school coaches. I've talked to very, very, very well-known college coaches, a couple that are still coaching, assistant and head coaches about this. Talking about this is why we come to these places to go up to these guys to be 3 years in a first round draft pick. Now, maybe you got a couple of guys in front of them. So instead of DJ Williams playing fullback his freshman year and then transitioning to linebacker like he did when he came to Miami just to get him on the field, maybe you redshirt him and then you play him for 2, maybe 3 years. So you're in year 4. If you're in year 5, maybe you got injured. Maybe you got injured and redshirted. You know what I mean? But like, if you're in year 5, something probably went wrong because no, I'm going to make you good enough and we're going to win enough that y'all are going to get out of here. Look at Clemson. Look at O State, look at Georgia, look at Alabama. How many of those guys are there for 5 and 6 years? Not many, because they're hitting their metrics. They're not getting injured. They're winning lots of games, and they're getting up out of there. So 5 years, yeah, no, we're not going to have ceremonial starting positions unless it's going to be the 1 year of DJ Shockley at Georgia, just because our generational cornerback or our better 5-star quarterback is coming next year. So, we're going to ride this guy this year just to bridge that gap. That 1 year of Kelly Bryant at Clemson. He was not going to be the future at Clemson, but he was the starter for that 1 year in between when they had Deshaun and when Sunshine was coming on campus. Past that, I'm not going to have many 5-year guys. And at those schools I named, you don't have many 5th-year senior starter guys because they get them up out of there. That's what I'm trying to see.
The last point I'll make about Urban Meyer involves recruiting, and that's certainly at Florida and at Ohio State with really good coaches, talking about Jim Tressel and Dan Mullen. They're going to recruit in the top 10 or so anyway because they're that type of place. But with Urban Meyer, that like average 7, 8, 9 recruiting class becomes, I'm looking at Florida, 1, 2, 5, 7, 1, 1. Ohio State was always 1, 2, or 3.
Yeah. So
I don't know what that is. now he can splash the national championships. Before, I don't know what it was. Just he's always talked about the grind of recruiting.
Yeah, I mean, you're out there and you're selling them on things, and I mean, that's just like, it's the power of personality, and clearly he has a strong personality to be able to do that. But I mean, again, if you're trying to say, or if you believe Manny Diaz saying, we need to recruit better to win, go back 20 seconds ago, listen to the rankings of the classes that Mark just said, and then there's your improvement. To the Bullyville, the previous super chat, first of all, thank you. My name starts with a C, not a K, like Kinchin's. Cam, C-A-M-E-R-O-N. Cameron is my name. But I appreciate the super chat. How can I be in on Urban Meyer as coach, but like not on Hugh Freeze or eating Subway because of Jared? Because he hasn't done anything of that ilk. Like, he hasn't done anything like that. I'm not saying that he's a perfect man, and because there are no perfect people. But he's not done anything to me that makes that I would write him off or disqualify him for. Feel free to disagree. I'm fine with that. We can discuss it. Hop in my mentions on Twitter at Underwood Sports. Let me know. We can do the conversation there. But there has not been that act from Urban Meyer, in my estimation. So those are my feelings about it.